Alright, welcome back, guys, to another impromptu cast by Kingsley and myself. We have Phoenix player versus Scorpion player. We got Asawa Eujin versus Oryx Wild. And I know Eugene actually very strong. He's in my pod right now for Season 3, and I actually lost to him in a very close game. It was quite interesting. He is playing Phoenix with a traditional Dragon Splash, but his list is very different than what we see Phoenix players playing nowadays, like, say, what Soto is playing.
Yeah, let's take a look at this. We have the Dragon Splash from this Phoenix deck, and he's playing 3 copies of Let Go, 3 copies of Miramoto's Fury.
He has, he's still playing 3 Sukune and three Kaede. Like, from what I've noticed, a lot of Phoenix players have cut down on that stuff. Like, where they just pick one or the other. Like, most Phoenix players have chosen Kaede because you can stand her with against the waves.
Mm.
He's playing the new package, so he's playing Suki, who's in a really strong 2-drop, playing Diplomat. Oh, he's playing 3 for Shame, so he's playing the Courtier build. We see the Meddling Mediators here. We see Peacemaker also, which I think it got dropped by a lot of other players.
Yeah, I think the Shiba Peacemaker. I think people have been playing fewer of those, but I do think it's nice to have the additional 1 cost cards sometimes, if only to improve your matchup against Crab.
He is playing 2 charges also, which could come in handy with those Peacemaker. Oh no, Peacemaker can't participate,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, it's different than Borderlands Defender.
No, not Borderlands Defender. The
Um,
Crab
yeah,
Yojimbo. Hiruma Yojimbo.
yeah, Hiruma Yujin, but that's the card I'm thinking of.
Though there is a funny little interaction where you can play Cloud the Mind on your own Peacemaker and then attack with him.
Ooh, sick. Build your own 4-1.
Yeah, exactly. It's not very. If you think about it, it basically is paying 2 and a conflict card for a 4/1,
Let's see.
which is not a great deal. But sometimes if you already bought that Peacemaker, that might be what you need.
He's playing 1 Benten's Touch, no Supernatural Storms, no
Mm.
Bonsais.
No bonsais. That's a surprise.
Yeah, no Bonsais, no Supernatural Storms. Playing 3 Display of Powers. That's a lot of Display of Powers.
Yeah, this is a fairly unusual deck, I think.
2 Assassinations. 3 Against the Waves because that card's really, really good. And we've got 3 Cloud Divine, 3 Katana, 3 Ornate Fan. And he's playing 3 Shrine Maiden, but let's look at his spells. He's got 3, 4, 7? He only got 7 spells. This thing's gonna
Huh.
whiff so often.
Now the upside is that milling your deck usually doesn't really do anything bad in this game.
Well, I think so. Let's do some quick game theory here about the concept of milling. So a lot of players like don't really like to do that in like every game I've played. They just like don't like to mill their own cards. So if you look at Shrine Maiden here, say it mills 2 cards and you draw a spell, so it draws you a card. You the spells that any spell that you mill, you can basically treat as a card that you is on the bottom of your deck.
Yeah.
And so, like, if you mill 3 cards, like, it's not like, oh man, I didn't get to see X card. It's basically you treat it the same way as if that card was on the bottom of your deck and you weren't going to see it realistically anytime soon.
Yeah, milling in card games is usually not negative unless you might actually mill out. Also, L5R has one of the latest penalties for milling out of any game that I've played, because most of the
Yeah.
other ones, if you mill out, you actually just lose the game completely.
Yep. If you attempt to draw a card with no cards in library, it's usually just a game loss.
Yep. So L5R is lenient in that respect, and furthermore, some decks have recursion cards that make it so that for them, milling actually allows you to use your discard pile as a resource. The
Yeah.
most obvious example of this is Keeper Initiate, which a lot of decks can play.
And
Uh,
which Eugene is playing 3 of.
yeah, and you can also play cards like Rebuild or cards like Guidance of the Ancestors, which have abilities that either fire from discard or benefit your discard. So
Kitsu Spirit Caller is an example.
yeah,
We've
Kitsu
seen
Spirit Color,
we've seen some
amazing
line
card.
players playing Satoshi trying to set that up.
Yeah, in my view, the biggest reason to play Mia Satoshi is not for the search, but actually the fact that it discards your own cards, which I consider to be generally pretty positive. So, looking at the Looking at the other deck here, we have a Scorpion deck, and the Scorpion player is going with the Crab Splash. He is running 2 copies of The Mountain Does Not Fall and 3 copies of Pathfinder's Blade. So The Mountain Does Not Fall is kind of a controversial card. It's very strong when it's strong, but some people don't like it because of its 3 influence cost and the fact that sometimes after you use it, you get bowed out. And looking back at what the Phoenix player has to offer, we see that he has 3 copies of Cloud the Mind. That's a fairly standard move for Phoenix play because Phoenix has a large Shugenja count to support playing Cloud. And the Scorpion player is not running Cloud the Mind, though he does have a few copies of Oni Mask. So we have to think, what are the targets? One thing that I like to do is think, what are the targets here? What are the cards that I want to play Let Go, and what are the cards that I want to play Cloud on? So for the Phoenix player, he has 3 copies of Let Go and Cloud. And so one card that you would most want to target with Cloud the Mind is Sinister Soshi, which can be completely negated by Cloud the Mind. But, sorry guys, I got the hiccups a bit. But interestingly, the Scorpion player is actually playing 0 copies of Sinister Soshi. And the Scorpion player has themselves gone very hard on attachment control with 3 Mia Mystics and 3 Calling in Favors. So I think what we're looking at here is actually going to be a game where both players have more attachment control than there are threatening attachments in the opponent's deck, which is an unusual situation to have happen.
Alright, real quick, the game is up. I'm sending you the password right now.
Sounds good. So going back to who does the Phoenix player want to use that Cloud on? If we look at these targets, sometimes Cloud on Actress is very impactful. Sometimes Cloud on Illustrious Plagiarist is very impactful.
Can be a Young Rumormonger. It kind of feels bad, but sometimes if you need to set up to honor the right guy.
Yeah. It's very interesting that this deck is not playing Sinister Soshi.
Yeah, that is very strange.
I've thought of Sinister Soshi as being probably one of the strongest 1-cost cards for some time, given its ability to interfere with whatever conflict you want.
And then I think its ability to not actually be hooked or be bullied is really strong too.
If I recall correctly, this Scorpion deck was the one that triumphed in the Battle of the Unorthodox decks against the Lion deck.
Yep, the Voltron Lion deck.
That's right.
So we see Eujin flipping Suki, Solemn Scholar, Kaede. He's going second, so assuming he won the die roll. So I think Oryx is probably just going to buy a Manipulator pass or Rumormonger pass. That's what most Scorpion players have been doing. Because Oryx is playing Ambush too, so he definitely has a lot of stuff to do in his conflict phase. If you're Eujin here, do you buy your cheap characters or do you buy Kaede? I think it's really loose to buy Kaede versus a deck playing
2 copies of A Fate Worse Than Death.
Yeah.
And an I Can Swim.
Well, presumably they're both gonna bid. Oh, with Manipulator, yeah.
No, Manipulator doesn't work with I Can Swim.
What do you mean? He bid 6.
Manipulator doesn't affect the actual value on your dial for card effects. It only affects the thing temporarily.
I did not know that. Okay. Well, today
if he did, I Can Swim would be like a 3x in my opinion.
Oh, okay.
So we're seeing Asako Suki. That is what I would go for myself. I would go with the smaller players here. I think Kaede is strong, but typically I don't like Kaede unless she has support.
Do you not like Suki with 2 then? Or... Because Oryx is not playing any assassinations.
I would consider Suki with 2.
I think I was Suki with 2 when I'm not playing against assassination.
Yeah. And that's one of those situations where having assassination in your deck could help because the threat of it, if you only have 1 copy, discourages people from investing too heavily. However, we're seeing fairly standard stuff. Interestingly, Oryx Wild went with the Fawning Diplomat over the Young Rumormonger. Now, we know from looking at these decks that Phoenix is running 3 copies of Censure and the Kanjo District.
Yeah.
So there's a little bit of anti-synergy between those 2 cards, but both of them rely on taking the Imperial Favor, which Phoenix tends to be good at thanks to their Stronghold ability.
Mm-hmm. Conjure District, if you've never been on the receiving end of it, is really unfun to play against.
The only downside of it is that it does require discarding the favor.
Mm-hmm. So we see it hitting Before the Throne. Oh yeah, province-wise, I know Eujin has a pretty interesting province lineup. So he has Before the Throne, Public Forum, Meditations, Shameful, and I think under his stronghold is Along the River of Gold.
Wow. That is unorthodox.
I have seen a lot of Phoenix players playing Along the River of Gold under their stronghold. I don't really understand why. Like, is there a repeatable action just better than Rally? I don't think so, but I could be wrong.
I think Under the River of Gold can be strong as a card in provinces because it can go and hit the opponent, but you need them to reveal it to let you use it aggressively.
The other thing is, it's specifically better against certain clans.
Yeah. I would just play Rally to the Cause, let's be real.
Yeah. It is really good against Scorpion and Crab, though, because they have a lot of lopsided stats. So, let's see here. We see Furia bowing this Diplomat that revealed Before the Throne. Does Oryx have a conflict character? He doesn't, so that just passes out. Oryx only has three Fate right now, so we could see some for shames on Eujin's characters. Oryx is running their pretty standard Scorpion lineup. That he's got Secret Cache, Pilgrimage, Shameful, Meditations, and then it looks like he's in Entrenched Position under his Stronghold. So Eujin faceplants into Shameful here. Contesting the Water Ring, though, is very strong, because Suki just has to have somebody claim the Water Ring. A strong play from Oryx here would be just if he could bow out the Scholar to prevent anyone from winning. It makes it so the Water Ring never gets claimed. Making it so Suki can't use her ability. Oryx defends with his Manipulator. We're gonna see Shameful activation probably. Yep. I mean, if I'm Eujin here, I probably just pass, let my Suki get her trigger, and then just go back to Shameful. Oh, we see Charge, wow. This is really strong. This means he'll get the Void Ring off of his Kaede to void off this Manipulator. Alright, what does Oryx have? Oryx plays an Oni Mask. That is not gonna be enough mill. If he has a Bonsai here, he could very easily win because Eujin doesn't have Bonsais or Supernatural Storms. So it's really hard for Eujin to get enough actual strength other than honoring his characters. Oryx, realizing that Oni Mask only gives 1, it's not a Katana, does not give the 2. We see a charge on the Rumor Monger now. Okay. Now we see a Katana on the Solemn Scholar. This is playing out really well for Eujin. Oryx is playing cards, and Eujin is just kind of going to accept it, because he's just going to get this Water Ring, and he's going to have a 3-4 Suki. But Oryx passes. We see an oops. Oryx is not thinking very fast. So he gets to resolve the Void Ring now. Voids off the manipulator. He's going to honor Suki. And just doesn't... Oh, and he had a keeper. Wow. Holy crap. He honors... Oh, I see. Young Rumor Monger makes it so Suki's action honors Kaede because Kaede is gonna die. That's very reasonable. So we see an Adept of Shadows from Oryx. Both pass. What can this Adept of Shadows even do? Like, he's behind on board here. Runs into Before the Throne again, contesting the Void Ring. Probably going to try and void off Suki. Could void off the Solemn Scholar. I wonder if you even defend if you're Eujin here. Like, you could just get a free break on Shameful. Yeah, all the people who are saying this looks like this is a pretty EU friendly time. So if you're catching the stream, you know, I'm glad my random sleep schedule could help you guys out. So let's see. We see a Dishonor, we see a For Shame on Adept of Shadows, and then we see the Stronghold dishonoring it, or making its glory +2 more, so it has 0. So Eujin ends up winning that conflict. Suki,
I just realized I've been muted for several comments I just made. Apologies.
oh, okay. I saw you were muted, but I assumed it's because you were taking care of something. We see here that Suki has some very insanely good creature types. She has Courtier, Scholar, and Shugenja.
Yeah, those traits are very favorable for Suki. Now, I'll also say one reason to maybe play Suki with less fate is that there is the possibility of drawing duplicates.
Oh, sure, because she's legendary. That's fair.
Yeah, well, she's unique. Ooh, and Against the Waves is canceled with Forged Edict. Yeah. It's absolutely shocking to me that he had a Forged Edict and didn't use it on that charge.
I would agree. I think
that is totally wild.
I think you absolutely edict that charge, because then his manipulator would still have a fate on it right now. This Oni Master would still be around.
Yeah, that is shocking to me. Okay.
We're gonna see a court games to pump this keeper up, make him buff.
I would do it if I had it. No, instead we see an Ornate Fan. That's also enough.
Fan's better, but
let's see if there's a Dishonor option coming out from the Scorpion here.
Wave the Scorpion would be a good option here.
Yep, or a court games. Both work.
Let's see here. Scorpion does 7 cards.
He's got 6 cards in his deck that will let him beat this down.
Calling in favors.
Ooh, I don't like that anywhere near as well. That costs a fate. But it looks like Eujin's out of options.
Yeah, it costs a fate and loses him an honor. But I guess that isn't as big of a deal. So Eujin firing his keeper, so now he's got a 3/3. The one thing I really like about Suki is like every turn you can just start honoring your scholars. Like she's going to be able to honor herself again next turn.
I have to say, I think Scorpion ended up way behind this turn, just brutally behind.
I mean, I think if he just edicted that charge, he would have been perfectly fine. Because Eujin doesn't have ways to win mill conflicts because he has only like buffs are his Fantanas. Like no Bonsai, no Supernatural Storm. Like it's very hard for him to win conflicts. So if Oryx just edicts the wow. Both players flops. Does City of Lies stack?
Yeah, you can do more than one.
Okay.
So both players have holding-centric flops. The key difference here is that the Phoenix holdings are going to be really useful and impactful, and the Scorpion holdings are going to be very negative.
I wouldn't say very negative. I think it really depends on what's in his hand. So if
I
you,
would much rather have more guys. Did he remember, by the way, to take his Adeptus Shadows back into hand?
he
He
did.
did.
He
Okay.
did.
So he at least has that. I would honestly pass first action as Scorp. Yep, that's what he's doing. The Shisora actress has no targets.
So yeah, Eugene just adds another solid body to his board. If Oryx can survive this turn without getting without getting broken twice, I think he might be okay. We'll see.
One thing that I'll say is if he charges up all 3 City of Lies and uses it to Fate Worse Than Death at Suko, that would be,
That'd
that
be pretty
would
hype.
not. He could generate a big Fate advantage while still playing impactful cards.
I mean, he has got double ambush, so he could do some cool things with Cunning Magistrate, and like dishonor Eugene's board out. Both bid 5 again. We'll be trying to keep an eye on the bids here because Scorpion is playing an Icon Swim. Both players pass. Oryx uses his Stronghold to steal an honor. Eujin drew so many cards that turn. Library is insane.
Hmm.
So we're gonna see a mill attack here with 2. His Solemn Scholar has 1 power. Or sorry, 1 military. What ring do you go for here if you're Eugene? I'm thinking Earth, maybe?
Earth is, Earth has a Fate on it, and it enables Solemn Scholar to block any counterattack that Oryx Wild might have.
Yeah, he's going for Earth.
And it's impactful.
So we're seeing flipping a Pilgrimage.
I have to say, Pilgrimage is a nice one to see here.
So
I think
Oryx
that
doesn't have to play anything.
Yeah, he does.
He doesn't have to play anything, but then he's not attacking this turn because of the Solemn Scholar. We see
Cunning Magistrate enters the conflict, so the Cunning Magistrate actually blanks the Solemn Scholar.
We could see Mountain Does Not Fall. Oryx is playing 2 Mountain Does Not Fall.
Mountain would be strong here. Now one problem here is that I think Oryx wants to actually win this conflict if possible.
I agree. So we see Keeper getting swole. He's getting +2 right now.
Keeper goes up to 5. Oryx is fine with it. He's just going to pass. So that means that Eugene is currently winning but not breaking, and that means his ring will not do anything. But let's see if there are more cards being played.
Will we also see that
policy debate? Ooh, 5 against 2? That's going to be harsh.
Yeah, Eugene
that's actually quite impactful.
Eugene has 2 policy debates. So we see Fate Worse Than Death, He's just going to take Fate Worse Than Death.
Yep, he's going to take the Fate Worse Than Death.
3 Adaptive Shadows.
Boy, that's a hard hit. That is a hard hit for Oryx Wild. Yeah, I can only imagine he's going to take Fate Worse Than Death.
It just invalidates the City of Lies.
Yeah. Those 3 City of Lies are going to... Well, I guess they could enable a calling in favors.
Yeah, I guess. Eugene saying he doesn't want to get wrecked on stream, and then he's like, he's okay if it happens to you.
They're joking around.
Yeah, from my encounters with Eugene, he's a quite a good player, and he's a pretty sporting fellow.
It seems like Oryx Wild's getting a little demoralized here. He's joking around, but he's saying, I see my dreams of winning the cup going down the drain fast, but hey, I'm playing a bad deck, so what did I expect?
See, I think that's a really poor mindset to have when you... If you do have goals of winning the tournament, then I think that should just be your goal regardless of what deck you chose to submit. And then you should always just play, to the best of your ability. And then afterwards, if you don't win, etc., it's fine. But I don't know what your opinion is on that. I mean, my opinion also is if your goal is to win the tournament, you should play the best deck possible.
Yeah, that's my view. Yeah, well, there's something to be said for experimentation, but yeah.
Yeah, so Eugene gets the Earth Ring also, and now his Atsuko is safe. Like we said, if Oryx had been able to Fate Worse Than Death Atsuko, I think he would have been in a fine position. He does have two Adaptive Shadows that he can play. So, Eugene can have Display of Power. Yeah, and since he just got policy debated, he knows that, is he gonna go after Pilgrimage here? Because he can break it with Atsuko's ability. It's risky to go after Pilgrimage though, because if Oryx plays the Adaptive Shadows into the conflict, he can stop it. But Oryx's poke attacks with Adaptive Shadows are not very strong when your opponent has 2 Fate. Like, Eujin knows he doesn't have an Edict, so his Display of Power is pretty safe.
A Void Ring might also be stronger.
Yeah, I was thinking he would go Void and to use Atsuko's ability also to give him some strength.
Yeah.
So if he goes after a Pilgrimage, and Oryx plays a Adaptive Shadows into the conflict, Eujin will gain 3 strength overall. Yeah, he'll still break. Because Oryx will be at 1 and he'll be at 7. Yeah, I think he's doing Void at Pilgrimage. Atsuko's ability will allow him to break, because we know Oryx's hand is not strong enough. Oryx plays an Adaptive Shadows into the conflict anyway. I don't agree with this line because it's not going to accomplish anything. It just drains you of 2 Fate.
Yep. Eugene can just hit the button on Atsuko. That'll put him up to
7. It'll be 7 to 2.
Yep. That'll be breaking.
I guess.
I gotta say this is really a good demonstration. Oh, and he has even more than that.
Oh,
this is really a good demonstration of how strong policy debate can be, because I think without policy debate, it's actually quite possible for Oryx to make a big comeback this turn with Fate Worse Than Death.
Yep.
Or at the very least to, if not make a big comeback, at least put himself into a position where the situation is not looking so bad.
Yeah, I mean he wouldn't suffer the break here. It would just
most of Eugen's board is going away. So Oryx just passes. I think now we see Atsuko use her ability. No, we see a Shrine Maiden. That's interesting.
Interesting.
Adds a Benton's Touch, discarding Katana and Debate. Okay.
Yeah, alright, so 7, it was, let's see. Shrine Maiden doesn't have a lot of hits in this deck, but it did indeed. It did indeed get a hit. The second policy debate is gone now. It is nice that when certain cards get discarded, you know you don't have to play around them anymore.
Yeah, so I think that might be cold comfort to Oryx, though, who's lost that crucial Fate Worse Than Death.
Usually just double checking to make sure he's breaking.
Yeah, he is. There's the break.
Very easily breaking. Yeah, what do you think about Eugene playing all this extra stuff? Instead of just using I guess honoring your character is fine, but do you even honor there, or do you just use her action?
I think having her honored is useful already. I guess the Shrine Maiden, I would probably just use the action. I'm fond of using things that are on the board.
Yeah, I like using on-board things and just maintaining cards in hand.
City of Lies, what do you think about that card?
I think it's not... I think you want to see 1 in like a deck like this, where it doesn't clog up your dynasty spots, but it also can gain some incremental value. I think it's a very slow. Yeah, so Oryx does keep 1. I think it's a very slow and situational economy card.
Yep, Oryx is clearly low morale. He says in the chat, "I have 0 control over this game right now." But he does say, it's like water. You have to go with the flow. We're seeing Shoju hit the field.
Eugene probably plays Prodigy here. He can play Prodigy, and then...
I'd do Prodigy 2 Fate and then pass. Looks like he's opted for Prodigy 3 Fate. Oryx probably just passes here. Yep. Oryx now has Fate Worse Than Death enabled again if he uses his...
So, Eugene has Benton's Touch, which has really awesome synergy with when you contest the Water Ring.
Yeah.
And he does have a keeper now in his graveyard that went away.
If I were Eugene, I would consider starting to bid low here to start kind of getting the choke going, especially with those 2 forgotten
Yeah,
libraries powering my draw
if
anyway.
you're going to keep double library, absolutely. And you have a Before the Throne that your opponent can no longer attack then?
Yeah. Though I think Before the Throne might end up getting used as a ring farm here.
Yeah, I agree. Shoju cannot.
Yeah, Shoju probably gets... Okay, so Oryx Wild passes by mistake. He then
Pathfinder's
unpasses
Blade.
Pathfinder's Blade. Okay, yep. So it looks like Shoju's probably going to be going in. Yep, he's going in for one of those meditations. Nice.
Meditations,
Good
yep.
thing he has the good thing he has the Pathfinder's Blade. He's going for the air ring, I think, because of the 2 fate.
Yeah, I would agree. So it goes up to 5.
So now we're seeing... Do you think Eugene should try to defend this? What do you think? I think there's a good argument for defending with the Prodigy at the Waves, but you really have to look out for getting killed. So I think maybe you just don't.
I think you
just let him
pass.
take it.
I think you just give up the break, and on your counterattack you do Water. You can Benton's Touch your Prodigy of the Waves.
Yeah.
And then you can
Ooh, Miramoto's Fury.
Yep.
That's a hard hit.
That's another reason you don't have to defend.
Yep.
And we do see that Eujin did win favor, so Eugen's three copies of Censure that could be live.
Eugene's really in control of this game.
Yeah. So I think Eugen's gonna do Water here. He's gonna use Benton's Touch to bow at Tsuko to honor Prodigy of the Waves. If he wins the conflict, he'll use the Watering to unbow at Tsuko, and he will get his keeper, and then he can use Prodigy's action to ready. And if that all goes the way he wants it, he'll end up with an honored Prodigy, an honored Atsuko, and a keeper. What do you think about Dragon Slash? I know players like Travis and Soto have kind of moved away from it, but Eugene has stuck with it, and it seemed very strong.
You know, when you get right down to it, Let Go and Miramoto's Fury are some of the best cards in the game.
Yep.
I think maybe you can find different options that also provide a lot of strength. But I think that for factions that don't already have attachment control, I think Let Go and Miramoto's are both amazing in almost any faction.
Especially for keeper clans where you just can play 3 and 3. You don't have to make a decision.
Yep. I think that actually for Scorp, it's a bit more of a choice. I think it's less obvious that the Dragon Splash is great because I think that calling in favors is often filling a similar role to Let Go.
Yeah, I know one of the Scorpion players in the top cut is using Tattooed Wanderer.
Yeah, but I think two or three Miramotos, 2 or 3 Tattooed Wanderers, that's a pretty good splash.
So we see Prodigy going Water, hits Seeker Cache. Oryx defends with his Cunning Magistrate. Let's see.
So Eugene goes for Oryx goes for the Way of the Scorpion against that Prodigy, which would be excellent if it went off, but we see Censure.
The real question is, how many Dishonor effects does Oryx have?
Yeah. Well, does he have another Way of the Scorpion is really the question, because this is a military conflict, so... games is dead. Another Way of the Scorpion, another Censure.
Okay. Eugene has drawn 26 cards this game.
Okay, now we see a City of Lies.
We're gonna see maybe a Fate Worse Than Death?
That could happen.
One scary thing about going low bid if you're Eugene is the threat of I Can Swim.
Yeah, that's actually a very good point. Eugene says, I know what's going to happen.
Does Eugene have the 3rd Censure?
So it's possible these Way of the Scorpions were actually bait in order to get a Fate Worse Than Death out, but I think that, honestly would have been pretty solid for Oryx Wild if they had gone off, given that the Cunning Magistrate would then make the Prodigy of the Waves have no strength for this conflict.
The main issue here is that this character is going to give him Dishonored.
Oh, Oryx just passes. He must not have it.
Oh, so he just activated. He does have a calling in favors in his hand. That we know of. That sounds like
Well,
the. So we don't see the
there comes
maintenance
that
touch.
keeper. Boy, this is a bad looking situation for Oryx.
He's just gonna use the Prodigy's ability to ready here.
Adept of Shadows takes the field. Prodigy stands up. Oryx still has a military conflict. Maybe he'll swing military fire here. Or maybe he's just going to hold the line to prevent a free attack against his shameful display. Nope, looks like he's going in. Yep, military fire gets that fate.
Goes after meditations. Phoenix defends with Atsuko. Eujin can just do a political attack also. He could just go back to Secret Cache, because it's already been activated, and this opens up court games for him, because he'll have somebody. We see a charge. This is pretty strong, actually. Oh, but there's Fate Worse Than Death on Atsuko. What does Eujin have now? If Oryx wins against this charge play here, it's really strong because Eujin is out of Fate and he played a lot of cards. Oh, Eujin force shames the Adept, so it's Dishonor right now. Does Eujin have another for shame? That would be his third one, I think. It would. Adaptive Shadows gets pumped up by Phoenix Stronghold, so it's at 0-0.
Yes, that's a strong play. Bonsai coming out. Does he have another for shame? Double Bonsai, of course.
So he plays Bonsai with Kicker, so goes down to Honor. Looks like a Forged Edict is coming out.
Yeah. Wow. Once again, I really must question the use of Forged Edict here. I would have played it quite earlier, I think.
And
Assassination against the Adept. Ooh.
Yep, Eujin does have 2 assassinations.
Yep. This has been a harsh game for Oryx Wild.
So Eujin wins with his Diplomat, who then gets to honor his Prodigy.
I'm so surprised that that's where we saw that's where we saw the Forged Edict.
Is it even that bad if the way the Scorpion goes through on that Prodigy, is it even that bad for Eujin? Like I think Eujin would be fine with an Edict getting played there, because he doesn't win that conflict, but he just immediately stands his Prodigy. I don't know. Now we're gonna see Secret Cache probably getting broken here. Eujin commenting is a very strong hand.
Yeah. Oryx says he's played so badly it makes him really sad. I think I do think not canceling that charge was a big problem.
I agree. That kind of set the snowball in motion.
I do think Oryx has become somewhat demoralized. He's talking a bunch about how his deck is really bad.
See, I don't like conversation like that, because then why did you choose to play it? That like it feels like that moment where it's like, oh man, I was just trolling. It's like, well, what are you doing, man? Like, all right, so secret cache breaks. So we're on 2 breaks to 0. These libraries that just keep going off, man. Do you think Eujin bids low here now? With the honor totals being 6 to 6. So we see this Prodigy is going to be around for with 2 more Fate. Both Fate worse than deaths have been used.
If I were, yeah, so I think both players might want to bid low. I think that the only realistic way for Oryx to win right now is looking to beat Dishonor. And I think that in order to defend against that and also to start choking Oryx, Eujin should himself be bidding low. I actually would have started bidding low even earlier if I were Eujin. So let's see what we flip here. It looks like Oryx is holding on to that City of Lies. I'm not so sure that's a good plan, but let's see. The other thing is that Oryx could kind of say, you know, I'm going to throw caution to the winds. I'm going to keep bidding high. Maybe he's going to start bidding low. I can engage I can swim, and I can use that to battle out of this.
The dupe Shoju is pretty nice.
The Shoju dupe will be very strong for him. Hiroi is going to be a little less good, given that there are so many stand effects on the board with these prodigies.
Another prodigy. I wonder if we see favored niece. Favored niece, no fate. Try and sculpt his hand. Nope, we see Hiroi. Yep, we see Forgotten Libraries. And now let's see the bids here. Oryx goes 5, Eujin goes down to 2. So here comes the choke. I can swim is on now, although Eujin could have drawn the 3rd censure by now. Forgotten Library is just showing its power here, where you just leave it in play and you just play one guy a turn and just build up advantage.
Cloud the mind on Hiroi. Oryx passes.
Yeah, we hadn't seen a single one, and Phoenix is running 3 Cloud the Mind, so he's decided that he doesn't want to get hooked. So we see Eujin doing water again, going hits meditations. I think he just accepts that he's gonna run into meditations. Defending with Shoju on a mill attack, interesting. What do you think about this defense here?
Might be trying with this. This is a military conflict. I don't like this. City of Lies. Eujin passes. I can swim is enabled if he can dishonor this guy.
Censure on Forge. Oh wait.
Censure on Forged Edict for Mountain does not fall. Okay.
Wait. Okay.
So Scorp plays Mountain does not fall.
On Shoju.
Oryx uses the last censure, but Eujin uses the last censure, but Oryx has the last Forged Edict. So we do see Mountain does not fall. That makes this defense make a lot more sense. It prevents him from losing an.
Yep. And Mountain didn't cost him any fate because he had the City of Lies. We see the break though. And then we just see them both stand again. Prodigy of the Waves just doing its best Neat and Master impersonation. Eugene still has a Benton's touch in his hand also.
I think that oh no, the city was used on this thing displays things in an odd order. So the City of Lies was used
For Mountain.
to play Mountain, even
Yep.
though it displayed the center first. For a moment, I thought he had wasted it. What's this?
Looks like there what?
Air ring.
Wait, he did a military conflict. Did he just do it to grab the fate?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
he
guess.
So now he's got Shoju has been clouded now, so it can't even kill anything.
Yep, and now we're seeing probably the
Well, it's political. It's entrenched position is under Oryx's stronghold, so.
Yep, it looks like Eugene is going for the throat on this. Can he finish the game here? Strength 10.
He even
Now,
has
one nice little thing. If Shoju does defend this, Mountain does not fall is still in effect, so he will still be on the field.
Oh,
Right now it's 10-5, but
I'm expecting a court games from Eugene. And he's protected from an opposing court games. For shame to bow the prodigy. Interesting.
bows instead of dishonor, maybe in fear of I can swim.
Maybe he also just has accepted that he's not going to break this turn.
Fan on the other prodigy. Okay.
Maybe not.
That's a little. This is actually, if Oryx can hold this off, he can attack Void and void off the honored and fanned prodigy.
What are the other provinces from Phoenix?
He has a shameful in there.
Well, he won't have any defenders. I guess
So Oryx does have a court games, but he uses it to honor Shoju. That's fairly strong.
Yeah. So we see. Shameful
Now we
and
do know
public
that
forum.
Phoenix can still get 2 strength out of using their stronghold in this situation. Assuming that Scorp doesn't have dishonor tricks.
Where do you attack for Scorp? I think I attacked the face down library.
Yeah, I attacked the face down Forgotten Lever.
It also could be brutal if Eugene has the third Fury, which is reasonable.
Well, I actually think, despite all the problems and downfalls that have happened thus far, I actually think if Oryx can survive this attack, he might have an impactful thing. Oh, here's a question though: are we going to see an Against the Waves?
Oh, that would be sick.
What options does Oryx have? Oryx passes. He's going to make... So yeah, it's to his advantage to pass in this situation. He wants to make Eugene play out his cards.
Yeah, Eugene hasn't played... He's only played one Against the Waves, so we could definitely see another one here.
Yep. That Cloud the Mind on Shoju hurts.
Yeah, because he could have just killed this Keeper off.
Yeah, he could have killed the Keeper, and it would be another -1 against one of the Prodigies.
Yep. Eugene also has political favor, so he's getting an extra one from that. He also has his Phoenix Stronghold that has not been used.
Yeah.
If he has Against the Waves, then it's 5, 6, 7 he can add, so that'll put him up to 16. Yep, there it is, Against the Waves. We see a fan from Oryx, still not breaking, but then we just probably see Phoenix Stronghold here to force action to Oryx. Yep, there it is.
Phoenix Stronghold, yep, back in a breaking position. Fan on
fan.
Shoju.
We haven't seen any I think we have only seen one let go be put in the graveyard. Nope, no let goes have been put in the graveyard.
No let goes.
So
Shoju's barely holding the line here. There's let go. Yep. Another Ornate fan number 3. Is there another let go for it?
Yeah,
he has 3 copies. He's down to only 10 cards in deck.
It's very reasonable for him to have a second one here. Yep, there it is.
Yep, there's let go. Adaptive Shadows hits the field, interestingly, with an additional fate.
I think Oryx is a little low on honor here. He doesn't want to...
Eujin passes.
So Oryx doesn't lose here.
Oryx holds the line.
There is
the he loses I Can Swim. That's probably the worst thing he could lose, but it looks unlikely that he can get his Dishonor through at this point. This is actually a chance for Oryx to make a big comeback. He should attack Void against the face on library.
Eugene has no more fate right now, so he has no fear of getting furied. And
yeah, no fury. Oh, unless that's a... Oh, no, but it can't be a Manicured Gardens because we have a before the
public forum. How sick would that be if library on top of public forum?
That would be pretty... Yeah, you know, it would be pretty sweet. But I think the Void Ring alone will be quite impactful, taking that Prodigy of the Waves with the Honor and Fan off of the field.
I agree.
So interestingly, this could be Oryx's chance to stage a comeback.
No, it's shameful.
Wow, for him.
That's
Shameful
so
display.
Good for
That's the best thing he could see.
Yeah, absolutely. So he breaks here, gets rid of a library.
Yeah, so he can.
That.
So he can break the library, void off a strong character. That's a nice.
I think Oryx and Eugene loses another honor. Like,
hey, I gotta say this. You know, this game Oryx has been getting hit hard, but he's gonna be in control board wise for this next turn. The question is just what he's gonna be able to do with it. So I think in this situation he has a very strong attack by sending in Shoju against that Meditations on the Tao. The only question is whether he needs Shoju for defense.
Also have to worry, be careful what ring you attack with, because Eugene has 3 copies of Display of Power in his deck.
Yeah, good point. Well, we'll see how low he gets on Fate, though. Okay, so Fawning Diplomat, actually not very strong here, because we've already seen the Censures get played.
And we don't see Conjure District, so yeah.
Oh yeah, Conjure District, that's real. Oh, but he's just going to pass. That's fair. He has other options. I think that in this situation, Eugene has to actually start worrying a bit here about running out of cards in Conflict's deck. He's down to 9.
Library's a May, though, right? Like, you don't have to draw off Library. Because it's a reaction. Do you have
to... yeah. But I just mean he's getting close to the zone.
Oh, for sure. So
interestingly, both players bid 2.
Eugene down to 6 cards.
City of the Open Hand is doing work this game. Has he been able to trigger it every turn?
Yes, he's been able to trigger it every turn.
Yeah, so this is really showing the strength of the Scorpion's stronghold. In other situations, he would be dead.
It's turn 5, right? And he's used it every turn, so it's 10 total honor that has changed. Hit me up, fam. I do not have any like commands or anything in my chat. What were you trying to accomplish with this? Do you want the Discord link? Is that what you want?
Roy and Adaptive Shadows making a military attack. I wonder what he brought along from Roy. Military Fire. Eugene doesn't defend it.
Why does he attack with Hero here?
So here's a question. Is there a display of power? The lack of defense, at least to me, indicates there might be.
Yeah, Public Forum is perfect against I pull a guy out with favorable ground.
So here's an option. If the Scorpion player has a copy of Calling in Favors, he might want to use it to
Dishonor your Liar.
Favors the Cloud over to Adaptive Shadows or Liar.
I don't think you cloud your Adapt. I think you want because since you're low on cards, you want the ability to play the card over and over again.
Well, you also want the free card from Liar, but yeah. Yep, he's gone for Cloud on Adept.
Okay.
That means Heroi is enabled, so he can drag someone in, and because someone is in the conflict, that actually disables
Oh, there's the third
display of
cloud there.
power. Oh, but we see another cloud on Heroi instead. Brutal. Oh, but you know what? No more fate for display of power.
Yep, that's true.
He was right at the edge, and now he doesn't have it.
These display of powers have probably been just like rotting in Eujin's hand.
Yep. So almost certainly he has it in hand, but without the fate to play it, he's gonna take the hit here.
So you probably dishonor the prodigy here. Yeah.
Yeah, no question.
The
That prodigy is probably going to be in 2 conflicts. You gotta go big.
the problem here is that Eugin or Oryx doesn't have a good way to defend military attacks, and this prodigy.
I think entrenched position is his way to defend military attacks.
But the Asako diplomat can just re-honor the prodigy.
Good point.
So you can just do mill water.
Yeah, mill water, and then he has to defend it with shoju.
Yep.
And then you can honor the prodigy, stand back up, and then go in for the political attack.
If Oryx can, however, just defend this attack, so
Mountain again, mountain again.
Did we did City of Lies get used?
He already used it for the calling in favor.
Okay. So the City of Lies has been worth probably like 3 or 4 fates. Not negligible. So, if Oryx can defend this attack, Oryx does have bonsais. He has 3 bonsais. Eujin has no bonsais. Oh, we see just like a loaded up Cunning Magistrate show up.
Cunning Magistrate 3 fate? What the heck?
Shrine.
Ooh.
This
is very dangerous. Shrine Maiden is played and doesn't trigger his ability.
Oh, okay, so it's just a 1/1.
Oh, this conflict is actually important for Oryx Wild to win. If Eujin wins this, he can bow Shoju, even though Shoju has mount and does not fall. That's an interaction that many people are not aware of.
Yep. Defender is winning right now. Eujin doesn't...
Let go on the Oni mask.
Yep.
Oryx is down to 1 card. Pass.
This is horrific for him.
Yep.
I think that might be game, actually. Yep, and Eujin sees the interaction.
Yep, that's harsh. So now we're going to see Prodigy of the Waves. Oh man, a keeper comes out. So now we're going to see Prodigy of the Waves stand back up.
3,
Prodigy,
4, 5,
Mediator.
10, 12. I see 12 on board. Yeah, Eujin has 12 on board versus just the 3.
Yeah, 12 versus 3, needing 6 to break. I think it's over. I think the reason, by the way, that we saw all that fate on Cunning Magistrate was to enable the use of Oni Mask, but the Oni Mask was discarded before he could use it.
That's fair. Yeah, I don't know. I hope Oryx didn't have a mill buff. Has Oryx just not seen a bonsai in however many cards this is? Because I don't... Oh, he's played 1, never mind.
Yeah, he's played 1.
Okay.
Oryx passes conflict, that's wise. He needs to defend, and Meddling Mediator will steal something from him.
It will be an honor because he does not have any fate.
Yep. So if Bayushi Liar could dishonor the Mediator, and I'm just thinking of potential ways that Oryx could get out of this, but I'm not seeing them.
5, 6, 7, 8.
He only has 1 card.
say he can dishonor. Say he dishonors the meddling mediator, and moves the magistrate in. It's still exactly breaking by 6.
If he can get it so that the Prodigy of the Waves is not honored, that's a switch by 4.
It'll be 8-3. Yeah, he would defend.
He would barely survive, assuming Eujin has no political buffs in hand, which is possible.
How many court games has he played? 1, 2. He's only played 2. He could have the 3rd court games.
Could have the 3rd court games. And does he still have that Benton's? Did he play that?
No, he still has the Bentons, but the Bentons doesn't matter because he...
Oh, right. Mediator. Okay, yeah,
He
well,
doesn't have a
his core,
Shugenja.
that's it.
Yeah, last card is core games. Not enough.
Oryx says a very disappointing game, but hey, it happens. And Lyre gets assassinated, even worse. That's the game.
Oh yeah, sure. Then there was just zero chance.
Yep. So that's gonna be that. Oryx did make some plays that game that were, he fought hard, but he was at a big disadvantage
Yeah,
from
turn one. If
early
you
on
just,
in the
I
game,
think
and I think,
I wonder how the game goes if you turn one edict that charge.
yeah, I really don't know why he didn't do that. It's very confusing to me.
Maybe he forgot that Kaede would add the Void Ring to it. But I mean, even then,
Yeah. I think that was a tough game, and it does mean that we're gonna have more Phoenix players moving forward. So
yeah,
that's
Eugene and
that's cool.
Soto have both moved forward, so we shall see.
Yep.
I'm not gonna do an interview. I'm gonna go like eat some food and kind of wake up a little bit. So,
Sounds good.
thanks for joining us on the stream, guys. We'll catch you later. See ya.
Yep.